There was a time when Ubisoft was the game making company for me, as they used to deliver banger after banger like the Prince of Persia series, Splinter Cell, Far Cry, and of course Assassin's Creed. I used to love the Assassin's Creed franchise, and my favorite game from the series was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Since I had last played the game a good 5 to 6 years ago, I decided it was time to revisit my all-time favorite and see if it aged well or not. And as an avid trophy hunter, I decided to hunt for all the trophies while I was at it. I checked the trophy guide for the game before moving forward and saw that the game has a total of 51 trophies, of which we have 36 bronze, 13 silver, 1 gold, and that shining platinum. Everything looked straightforward, and I jumped into the game right away. We are shown a quick recap of what happened in the previous game and jump into this sequence where Ezio is partaking in a battle and is trying to assassinate some Templar general. Turns out the memory is a bit corrupted and we can't just access it right away and have to just continue from the sequence we were at last, which was at the end of the previous game. Oh, and we get our first trophy for starting the game. After hearing Minerva's message, we can see that Rodrigo, or the Pope, has escaped the vault, and we meet up with
It's me, Mario,
who has come to our rescue. We tell him about what happened in the vault and escaped Roma as the iconic Ezio theme and that classic Ubisoft Presents intro plays. We are back in Monteriggioni, and before having a quick reunion with our family and fellow assassins, Ezio decides to help some folks around the town. We need to catch a horse, help a damsel in distress, and show the lads how to fire a cannon. Back in the villa, we are greeted by Katerina.
You want my children? Take them! I have the instrument to make more!
And Machiavelli, and we tell them about the events that took place in the vault, which leaves Machiavelli in a shock, and he leaves the villa right away after knowing that we spared the Pope. After a good 32 years of playing assassin, Ezio is home and enjoys a cozy night with Katerina, just as the villa gets attacked by the Borgia army.
Probably just training exercises.
I have to find Mario and rally the troops.
My men are in the courtyard. I aim to lead them around back and flank our attackers.
Stay out of sight.
We need to get our shit together and need to help Mario's men defend the town. I just love this mission, as I remember watching that E3 demo, which literally sold me this game. Using the cannons, we need to distract the army till the townsfolk escape. Clearing the battlement, we see Cesare Borgia, the Pope's son, who has come to avenge his father, and that he does by taking out Mario.
So consider this an invitation from my family to yours.
I love this transition as Ezio gets shot at the same time. We need to struggle for our survival and take help from the mercenaries around us to fight off the remaining guards. Thanks to the villa's secret tunnel, we managed to escape with the townsfolk who survived. Ezio asks his mother and sister to move to Firenze for a while before he rides for Roma in a wounded state, as the sequence comes to an end, earning us another story trophy. In the present day timeline, we have reached Monteriggioni and plan to stay underground for a while till we can get access to that corrupted memory from the start of the game. The entrance to the villa auditory is blocked, and Desmond, thanks to his eagle vision and parkour skills, has to follow Ezio's lead to find a way inside. After getting fat shamed by Lucy,
You're really getting fat.
we make it inside and unlock the way for the other two assassins who can't do shit. We also have to install these circuit breakers to restore the power inside the villa. With all this done and dusted, we jump back into the Animus, getting another story trophy. It's so funny that I used to miss the modern day sequences in the newer titles, and now that I'm replaying the older games, I'm like, these are such a chore. Anyway, Rebecca introduces all the new features of the Animus in this game, like replaying the older memories and these VR training challenges where we have different combat, parkour, and stealth related challenges. I really like these as they are sort of similar to the Batman game challenges and added that extra game time. As you all know, I always strive for perfection, so I was trying to get that gold rating in all the different challenges when I unlocked Perfectionist. A new feature which got introduced in this game was the kill streak mechanic, where Ezio can chain kill multiple enemies. This feature can be super broken as Ezio is practically a god in this game, and with the hidden blades can counter everything. thing. I think the only challenge here is the hand-eye coordination, as we have to sort of keep our finger on the R2 button to somewhat be ready for a counter. They removed this in AC 3 and 4, which trivialized the combat even further. Any hoot, while doing the different VR challenges, we get another trophy for chain killing 10 guards. With the extra training out of the way, Ezio wakes up from a deep slumber and finds himself in Roma with new assassin robes, which I think is one of the best looking outfits across the series. We make our way to a doctor to get fixed and survey the area to find what's going around. That's when we encounter a few guards troubling a poor peasant and we decide to help him out. Up next, we meet up with Machiavelli, who sings praises about Cesare and how the Borgia controls Roma. We come up with a plan to free different districts from the Borgia control and are introduced to these checkpoint towers that we can destroy in order to free the districts. But first, we must kill the captain commanding the tower area. After destroying the towers, we can see that the guard presence around has significantly reduced and we can now invest in renovating different shops. This mechanic allows players to improve the infrastructure of Rome and generate a side income which can be withdrawn from the banks. It's kind of like a better version of the renovation mechanic from AC2. From this point onwards, I decided to unlock a bit of that world map by synchronizing viewpoints, destroying Borgia towers and investing in different properties. I would like to point out about some of the boring stuff in the game, like the collectibles, which I absolutely did not enjoy collecting for the different trophies. We have a total of 3 different collectibles. Feathers similar to AC2, which luckily are reduced to only 10. Glyph puzzles, which again are a bit less in number compared to the previous game. And Borgia flags, which are the worst, but more on that later. Luckily, this time we have a quality of life improvement in the form of collectible maps, which can be bought from the art shops, saving us the need to use a YouTube guide. Since Rome is bigger than the maps from the previous games, Brotherhood introduces tunnel travel, which is basically a quick travel system, but we need to unlock the different tunnels in order to use them. Personally, I find quick travel like this way more engaging than the ones where we can just travel anywhere using the map. We can also use horses for traveling around the town and have a basic horseback combat as well. After completing a few main missions, Desmond gets an email in the real world and checking it out gets us another easy trophy. While out of the Animus, we also go around the town and find an artifact, collecting another trophy. Another new game system which I would like to touch upon is the constraint system, where most missions have a playstyle related or optional objective which needs to be completed in order to get 100% synchronization in the mission. I feel that this mechanic is both a blessing and a curse. Blessing as it helps adding that difficulty or challenge factor, and curse because of the bugginess and that now you need to play a certain mission in a particular way which can feel like a chore, especially when you can't get spotted or kill any guards. Up next in the story, we go head on against the followers of Romulus, who are basically working for the Borgia, and get introduced to these tombs or hidden layers where we get a key at the end which can unlock an armor similar to the previous game. Well, we have to make sure that we complete all these as they all have separate trophies linked to each other, and have to also make sure to get 100% in all the missions in AC Brotherhood and TLC to get another trophy. Completing the first Romulus layer gets us a trophy, and Machiavelli goes over the quick travel mechanic I mentioned earlier. Up next, we get home improvement for renovating 5 buildings in the Antico district. We also get attacked by these bandits who roam around Roma and can randomly attack us. Pro tip, always loot their corpses as they can give some really good loot which can be used in shop quests or can be sold for some extra buck. Finally, we meet Machiavelli in the assassin headquarters in Rome, where we come up with a plan to make the thieves, mercenaries and horse courtesans our allies. This finishes the sequence, getting us 2 story trophies: Perfect Recall for getting 100% sync in all the missions in the sequence, and Roman Ruins for completing the sequence. My go-to playstyle for these older titles is to go for all the side content first before making progress in the story, so I was completing all the side missions and renovating as many districts as possible. I also completed another Romulus lair, getting another trophy, and went to Firenze in a memory inside a memory, kind of like an Inception shit. We have these new side missions where Ezio is missing his previous lover Christina, who was at the start of Assassin's Creed 2.
Ezio, I should have known.
May I come in?
Fine, but only for a minute.
A minute is all I need.
Indeed.
Well, wait, that came out wrong.
and we have to go through these missions to find out more about their love story. We see how Ezio saved Christina from Vieri and asked her out on a date. Up next in the story, we go meet the leaders of the mercenaries, thieves, and courtesans, and meet some new and old faces alike. Everyone has some sort of a deeper story going on, which will be unveiled in the upcoming memories. Like La Volpe, the leader of the thieves, hates Machiavelli and thinks he's a traitor. Bartolomeo, who has a wife now, is busy fighting the French. And Claudia, our sister, who wants to become who wants to become the leader of the courtesans. And Ezio is just not able to digest it. Completing each of these missions unlock a few more side missions, hustles, and mechanics like assassination contracts where we need to assassinate targets, courtesan missions where we become a pimp, where we need to help the damsels in distress, and thief missions where we need to help our guild fight off the rival bandit guild who are owned by the Borgia. Also, we can now partake in some illegal activities like underground fighting and gambling to make some extra cash. The notoriety meter is also back, and fighting guards can make us more infamous. So we need to remove posters, bribe, or kill some officials to lose that heat. We get 4 trophies while going through the main and side missions in this sequence, which are the gloves come off for winning the highest bet at the underground fight club, Undertaker 2.0 for completing another Romulus mission, High Roller for winning 10,000 florins in gambling, which is a super easy way of making money in this game, and Easy Come Easy Go for bribing a herald and then stealing their money away. With all this done, we go back to our hideout where we get more intel about Cesare, the Apple of Eden, and Caterina from our new allies, and finish the sequence getting another easy trophy. We complete another Christina mission before heading into the main quest, where we see how Ezio gave his folks a proper burial. I really like these missions. They kind of feel like they could have been a part of the second game. In the main story, we see Lucrezia Borgia, Cesare's sister, treating Caterina with utmost respect.
Salve, cittadini di Roma! Behold a sight most splendid! Caterina Sforza, she-whore of Forli, has at last been brought to heel.
We have to sneak inside Castel Sant'Angelo to assassinate Cesare and the Pope while not being detected, which is hugely a chore, thanks to the occasional bugginess. I still remember the first time when I was trying to 100% this mission, which was literally hell. Luckily, it was a smooth sail this time, and we see Cesare is leaving and the Pope is not there at all. Since our mission was low-key a failure, we go to free Caterina, who tells us that Lucrezia has the key to her prison. We sneak around and see her cheating on Cesare. They are brother and sister after all, so we kidnap Lucrezia, free Caterina, and now have to escape with her undetected. Again, a mission with bogus enemy placements. Thanks to some help from Machiavelli, we escape the Castello successfully with Caterina. Since Cesare is out of Rome and has a huge army which can be troublesome, Ezio decides to liberate Roma further from the Borgia grasp while building the Brotherhood further. This is when we are introduced to one of my favorite additions, which is how to recruit new allies and to control our own group of assassins. In the world, we can now see some NPCs who are trying to fight off some gods. We can help them and offer them to join our Brotherhood. We can use them to take out targets and also to help us in combat. Recruiting 3 assassins gets us an easy trophy. We also unlock these Templar agent missions, who are basically the multiplayer characters we can pick. Fun fact, did you know that Assassin's Creed used to have a multiplayer mode which was actually pretty fun? The game also introduces a new contracts mode where we can send our assassins to different missions to earn extra money and to level them up. Oh, and after recruiting a good number of assassins, we gain the ability to perform an arrow storm, which instantly kills all the enemies. We also meet Leonardo, who's the only character who looks aged compared to the previous game. He tells us that he's been working with the Borgia now and has created different war machines for them, which can turn the tide of any war, and we must destroy them. We can also purchase some upgrades for Ezio from Leonardo, like Dual Hidden Blade, Poison Darts, and Climb Leap Glove. Climb Leap Glove. Climb Leap Glove. Try saying that fast. The War Machine missions are absolutely fantastic as we get to control different machines obliterating the Borgia troops. I really like the Flying Machine 2.0 and the tank. However, I hated that 100% synchronization requirements for it, as it can be really tricky, and if we end up failing the target, we have to do the entire mission from the start as the checkpoints didn't exist then. Anyway, completing each of the war missions gets us a trophy. And Leo gives us a final invention, a parachute, which I swear is super handy. In my opinion, Brotherhood is honestly the definition of a perfect game sequel. Goodish story, check. Iconic main character, check. Adding to all the previous mechanics, check. Adding new fun gameplay mechanics? Fuck yeah. Ezio bids Katerina goodbye as the sequence comes to an end, and we get another story trophy here. Ezio visits his sister to find out more about a senator who's having some trouble with the banker who's aiding Cesare financially. We have to save this guy from the guards who are after his life. We lend him some money to tail him, which leads us to a party thrown by Cesare and the banker. We infiltrate the party and take out the banker, making Cesare's stocks crash. During these missions, I got a number of trophies like special delivery for double assassinating guards using a parachute, spring cleaning for killing an NPC with a broom, going up for killing a guard using a lift, and show off for completing 10 guild challenges. Ezio and Claudia finally fix their sibling feud and the family is back to normal. This finishes the sequence, getting us another story trophy. Before beginning with the next set of main missions, I delved into the side activities where I got A strike for killing 10 guards with a single arrow storm. Welcome to the Brotherhood for maxing out a recruit's level, and In Memoriam for collecting all the feathers. I love that the maxed out recruits now wear the same outfit as Ezio. Back in the story, we help out Bartolomeo defend the barracks, and the poor sod's wife gets kidnapped by the French general. Ezio comes up with a plan to disguise Bartolomeo's men in French soldier outfits, and we enter the French camp with his brilliant speaking skills.
Soldats, rejoignez le capitaine italien à son excellence, le baron. Il vous surround.
What part of France are you from?
Montréal.
I liked Ubisoft Montreal's insider joke here, which I just found recently while making this video. Yeah, I suck at history. Anyway, our disguise is blown and we have to sneak up on Baron before he kills Bartolomeo's wife. Assassinating him, we weaken Cesare's military power and finish the sequence collecting another trophy. The next sequence involves working with the Thieves Guild and resolving the issues between La Volpe and Machiavelli. However, before starting the main missions, I went out of my way to complete side missions where I earned several trophies such as Tower Offense for destroying all the Borgia towers, One Man Wrecking Crew for a Romulus mission, Grand Theft Dressage for stealing 5 horses from their riders while remaining on a horseback, which was a bit irritating as the option to hijack a horse only becomes available for the guards on horses and not for the regular NPCs, and I kept trying to manually jump onto the NPCs with horses, which was way difficult to chain, and also got Plumber for another Romulus mission. Okay, back to the main story now. We work with La Volpe to find the key to the castello, which is with Lucrezia's lover boy, whom we saw earlier. He works as an actor, and thanks to the thieves, we find out that Cesare knows about him and Lucrezia and has sent his hitman to take him out. We need to tail this hitman who intends to disguise himself and enter the play where Pietro will be acting as Jesus. We steal the outfits and with the help of our assassins, save Jesus. Pietro gives us the key to the castello and we see a thief who was at Monteriggioni during the attack and figure that he was the actual traitor. We stop La Volpe from attacking Niccolo, resolving their differences and finishing this sequence with a trophy. As we are nearing to the end of the game, pretty much all the side activities are fully unlocked by this point and I was onto them all. Again, I collected a good bunch of trophies before starting the main quest, like Fly Like an Eagle for jumping with a parachute off of the top of the castello, Amen for the final Romulus mission, which gets us all the keys to unlock the Romulus armor, which is not my favorite but definitely looks cool. And again, I recently understood the meaning behind the wolf style clothing worn by the followers of Romulus, which is definitely a neat touch. Again, I'm really bad at history. With all the side shit out of the way, we sneak inside the castello, and again, similar to the first castello mission, this one's 100% sync can be a bit tricky. We see the feud between the Pope and Cesare, where the Pope poisons Cesare and Cesare chokes him to death. We bid our farewell to the Pope before Lucrezia tells us about the location of the apple, and we have to race Cesare. We make it just in time and recover the apple back. We showcase the true power of the artifact to Cesare and have to escape the district. The 100% sync objective for this mission is just absolute nonsense. We need to escape without losing any health, and we can't use our assassins or any weapons, and just have the apple which drains our health upon usage. Like, why the f even give me the apple if I can't use it? Especially after that cool ass cutscene cutscene. Anyway, the next set of missions take place a few months apart, where we go after the poisoned Cesare and weaken his remaining allies. After a final showdown, we push him to the outskirts of the city, where he gets arrested by Fabio Orsini, Bartolomeo's cousin. Since Ezio didn't want to risk Cesare rising to power again and coming for revenge, he uses the apple to see the future and rushes towards Cesare. This finishes the sequence, getting us Vittoria la Assassini. The final sequence brings us back to the start of the game, where Ezio finally finds Cesare after a good couple of years of that wild goose chase, and we have to take him out. We need to go through the rampaged city and have a final duel with Cesare. The 100% sync objective for this mission was to not lose more than 5 blocks of health, and since I didn't want to risk it, I just kept on shooting Cesare. We finally get him for good and throw him off the castle wall and see Ezio placing the apple inside the vault in the Colosseum, which finishes the sequence, earning us Requiescat in Pace. In the modern day sequence, we rush towards the Colosseum and discover the tomb underneath and have to do a bit of parkouring in order to reach the apple, while Juno talks to us mentally. Grabbing the apple freezes time, and Juno controls Desmond into killing Lucy, as she would betray the assassins in the future, interrupting Juno's plans. Killing Lucy, Desmond falls into a coma and is put into the Animus again, which finishes the game, earning us the final story trophy. Okay, so here comes the cleanup part, where I check the number of trophies remaining, which are Your Wish is Granted, Deja Vu, Capture the Flag, Clowning Around, Strong Arm, dash 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 I guess, El Principe, GPS, and that final Platinum. I quickly threw a few florins into a well, getting Your Wish is Granted. Up next, I replayed one of the Romulus layers, which I had to go back to anyway, getting that Deja Vu. Well, the reason I had to play the Romulus missions was because of the Borgia flags, which are hidden not only in the open world but also in these missions, and some of these have to be replayed as they have a constraint of finishing the sequence in under 8 minutes, which can be difficult if you plan on collecting the flags as well. I followed the video linked in the guide, replaying all them layers, finally collecting all the 101 flags and getting the trophy along with the cape, which looks pretty cool. Up next, I hunted all the Harlequins around the town, getting Clowning Around. Originally, this used to be a multiplayer trophy as we could select Harlequins, but they later added these as a part of the DLC in the main game as well. Next came Strong Arm, for throwing a spear, smoke bomb, and axe from more than 10 meters at a guard. I swear, before this playthrough, I never even knew that we could throw smoke bombs. Up next, I started finding and solving all the Subject 16 glyphs, which was quite boring, but it got me this trophy, so won't complain too much. Okay, that finishes the main game trophies, and we just have 2 DLC trophies to go. I started the Da Vinci Disappearance DLC, where Leo gets kidnapped by this cult and we have to find him using the clues hidden in his paintings. For Il Principe, we have to get 100% sync in the missions of the main game and the DLC, so I was making sure that I didn't miss out on any optional objective during the DLC missions. I would say most of them are easy except for the final one, as sometimes parkour in this game does not exactly work how we want it to. Finishing the DLC story with that 100% sync gets us GPS and Il Principe, which finally unlocks that shining platinum. So, did Brotherhood age well? I would say it certainly did. Not only did I get that massive dosage of nostalgia, but I also found quite a few new things about the game which I didn't know about even after having spent like a good 200 plus hours in the game all those years back. Well, if you love the Ezio trilogy just like me, then we are definitely friends. And you know what friends do? Hit that like button and subscribe. With that said, I'm out, and Requiescat in Pace, folks.